Shiv Baba gave respect to Brahma Baba, and then Brahma Baba gave respect to every soul. Everyone's part is always different. Nature is different. Sanskars are different. So we all have to instill this awareness and create this consciousness that I will have respect towards every soul. And because of this respect, Baba was loving but also very detached. So that he can be on his journey of experiencing respect from God and love and respect from all the souls. As much respect I gave, I receive everyone's love and respect to follow the footsteps of Brahma Baba. One of the most important awareness is to respect everyone, whatever anyone is. My connection, my relationship with everyone has to be of love, respect, so that my record, my own personal register remains very good. And my capacity to share good wishes with everyone also increases. Now I have to focus on my journey and not get influenced or affected by different sanskars of any soul. I look at Bab Dada and today take that footstep following Bab Dada of love, of respect, good wishes for everyone, and cooperation for Babaji Agya. As Baba said, January 18th is to become embodiment of remembrance and free from all attachments. So, as a soul in soul consciousness, I look at everyone as a soul, as child of God, an awareness of love and respect. So we have to be in Madhuban now and visit Baba's pilgrimage places as we would have done if we were in Madhuban. So experience Baba's presence, Baba's love, Baba's blessings upon us. So we go on this journey.
Eighteenth, Raazyukt, silence, the silent presence. Now we'll be listening from Mohini Didi.
Om Shanti. We are already drawn towards deep silence. Madhuban, it's already 18th morning. They must have finished Amrit Vela and getting ready for morning Murli, morning class. Why it is important to follow footsteps of Brahma Baba? Because we took the message, we are given spiritual life, we are on journey, and Brahma Baba is our guide, and we have to follow footsteps because he completed his journey. He became perfect. He remained karma yogi until last minute. Created this unlimited yajna for us. He was example to surrender and be a trustee. So all of us, we need courage, we need inspiration, motivation, and that's possible only when we look at Brahma Baba. Yes, we have to remember Shiv Baba, but for our own directions, we look at Brahma Baba and try to understand his footsteps. So many things happen during the night. Every scene is different, every moment is different. So today we had to think of more, whether we call it honor, or we call it respect. So I had been reflecting, but also working on my own self, especially when you hear some souls, whatever their sanskars are, whether they create their fortune or not, but to have respect, to have respect for the. And then I remember that Brahma Baba was practical example of that, because many different types of souls came, and many young ones. Some were not educated, some were from villages. It's not many surrendered at that time professionals, little later, yes, they did. But Baba gave lot of respect, and also then the love they felt, and they became worthy as much as was their fortune, because we can never compare two souls. Every soul has part to play, its fortune has different capacities, right? Generally, our expectation from everyone is that this will be the do maximum, or will be this, or have these specialties. So many souls. I saw one soul, she didn't know to write or read. Many at that time didn't. Especially I'm talking of some of the young sisters came. But there were many things to, like cutting vegetables, especially grains, coriander leaves, and it takes a lot of time, right? So they will give them the basket of that after Murli. So they will do that karma yoga, and they are very happy singing Baba's songs, praise. So how, whatever is anyone's part or fortune, but I respect the soul. So when you are respecting the soul, then love the soul experiences. So at least that soul became worthy of whatever that soul's part is. But if I don't look at that respect, but as I said, my own record, but also for my seva, it's a very beautiful experience, but one has to deep within instill it based on soul consciousness. Every soul is different, eternally different. Their part is different. Just imagine if all were same, then all would be kings, right? But still Baba look at them with so much love, because as a soul, not looking at the part, not looking at qualities or qualification, but look at the soul. So I had been really love. I was thinking about it. So many Baba's examples were coming in front of me. Otherwise, you all know that Baba was so accurate, so perfect, so efficient, very clean, punctual, so all the qualities, right? But he should expect, no, everyone, especially those who are around or those who are in Madhuban, to be like him. Yes, he knew they are souls. That's definitely, we all are souls. So our capacity to give good wishes increases when I have love and respect. And you feel very happy in your life because all those souls also will have love, respect for you. And all kinds of reflections we do, experiences we do, experiments we do, we move towards what Baba calls it silence. Silence is not just not speaking or not thinking. Yes, we say, okay, I will not be speaking for half a day, one day. Now they do 3 days retreat of silence. But then there is silence of mind. But doing everything, still be in silence. And if necessary, speak, not unnecessarily speak. One of the important quality for that natural silence is introversion. If we cultivate this quality of introversion, how far I should uh, be just only looking through these eyes, listening through these ears. Baba has given us third eye, so I can use third eye. Introversion is such a beautiful quality. In other words, introversion is also being Swadershan Chakradhari. I keep looking at myself, my part. So silence really becomes very natural with Brahma Baba. He was loveful, he will have talk, he will give class, be very, very cheerful. He will smile whenever you are with Baba, looking at Baba. But definitely was very introverted. When we will go in his room, we had to wait few minutes when his attention is drawn towards me. He will signal if I could go in and talk. So he will smile and listening and saying whatever has to be said, but not talk, 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 right? Introversion. Another quality which is we have to integrate in our personality is solitude. And solitude is not close myself in a room. I want solitude. Solitude is within the center of forehead, have that stability in one stage. I want seed from a stage. And I want to stabilize myself in seed from stage. And you are in solitude, all alone. In seed from stage, you cannot have anyone else, right? We call it ekant solitude. So from time to time during day, I go in solitude, go in my little cave, forehead, and practice. Just take one stage, soul conscious or bodiless or seed form or just a peaceful soul. It's very good. It's solitude, then you are able to recharge yourself then. That also creates silence. If you do few times, mm, by evening you will deeply feel that you are very peaceful. Because peace also is a very deep silence, right? And very peaceful. No thoughts which are disturbing from the past or for the future, no. So introversion, solitude, and peace. These are the descriptions of silence from awake Murlis. So I had been reflecting on it that silence is not just by being silent, but being introverted. So Brahma Baba's personality of silence, mm, we can't say today Baba is in silence. It was always there. which is being described as avyakti thinking, avyakti words, and avyakti actions. Of course, his part was such responsibility of so many children, the responsibility of always sustaining the yagyas, all that. But he did not by doing. So I'm responsible, so I keep doing it, right? But he fulfilled that responsibility by inner journey. And that inner journey of introversion, solitude, and peace helped him to do whatever seva is needed, whether it was mansa seva of giving sakash, words he had to speak, and actions he had to perform. He was doing from that power of silence. So doing is doing, but if I do it with power of silence, it's different. So Brahma Baba from very beginning, I mean, I didn't see him for 15, 16 years. But then when I saw him, when I met him, it was in 54, I think. It's beautiful that vibrations from that personality of power of silence. It becomes very easy to trust that person because the vibrations are so pure. Vibrations are so powerful that it inspires, motivates, gives power to others. So some of you might say that we have so much to do, we have job or we have, but I think we can practice introverted, solitude and peaceful, and that also will be while on duty, right? Brahma Baba, when there were young children in the beginning at midnight or whenever, he will go around to see if every child is okay. He will listen what is needed by Yagya. Even Mama was there to take care of all internal situations and departments. So we have today, especially tomorrow and today, just take time to look into your quality of introversion, solitude, and be peaceful. And definitely, Baba's blessings will help us to be more and more stable in this kind of stage while doing actions. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, dear Mohini Didi, and greetings everyone.
Hello, Om Shanti.
Just feeling again this image of following in the footsteps of Brahma Baba. Today the image came that I was seeing myself following, but very quietly, as if, okay, we have to follow the footsteps, but don't bang on every foot. Walk slowly and peacefully, so it's silence. So we're going to follow Baba's footsteps in silence. And I have one problem, Sister Mohini. Every time I think I have the great question of my eternal life, and I say, yes, I'm going to ask a question to Mohini Didi tonight, you answer the question before I ask it. And so when you present the quality, I feel, all my questions are answered, so what question to ask now? And particularly on the topic of silence, I'm thinking maybe I should not ask questions tonight. But still, we can try to just stay with the image of Brahma Baba. We felt with the daddies that we met that when they walked in the room, something changes. I'm wondering, and you touched about the personality of silence of Brahma Baba when you met him in 54. But I'm wondering if you can recall few moments where you were doing something or you were in a room and then Brahma Baba walked in. And if you can recall, what was the feeling when Baba walked in?
Yeah, many, but I can share one. Baba, when it used to be very cold in Mount Abu, we will try to invite Baba to Delhi or Bombay. So that year was 1960, I think 62 or 63 when Baba had to come to Delhi. So Didi Manmohini asked all the teachers, instruments, do you know any place where we can keep Baba? And there might be about 2,000 Brahmins in the Murli in the morning where we can put tent or have a hall. So at that time we had a student, the center I was there, was a very good IP quality center. And so one brother, one soul came. Mama was visiting before, so he got introduced. He came to meet Mama and he was very touched. And then I became instrument to give course. And so he had very, very big bungalow. And bungalow was one thing, but there were a lot of big lawns. It was a British type, British time kind of house. And he was, I won't go into detail of his profession, but so I said to Didi that I can try and ask him if he wants to host Brahma Baba. So when I asked him, he started jumping with joy. He said, oh yeah, and I will empty whole house and I will move into one room. They were only two of them, and also they had another big quarter for his servants and maid. And so we asked Didi to come and see. Well, not very big house, but very comfortable. So Baba had bedroom and very nice lawn at the back, private. And we thought we will put up tents for 2,000 people. And also, all different facilities can be arranged. So myself and one of my other sister with me. So we didn't had much space anywhere for sleeping because Didi was there. Some seniors also stayed because of Babas. So two of us will sleep in the middle where they keep the table. We remove it every night. And two of us will sleep on the floor, have our blanket. It was winter. So one time, I suddenly, like it was 2:45 in the morning, I felt like someone is walking in the room. And I just opened eyes. It was Brahma Baba. And Baba said, get up, child. So I just, got up and had shawl around me. And Baba hold my finger and said, come. So then he made me walk. We went around because it was raining. So he wanted to know where people will, when they come, where they will sit. So anyway, we went around and then we decided about, just maybe he wanted to guide me or whatever. So then we decided this will be the place and um, there won't be effect of the rain. But as your question is that did I ever felt? So there was such a, I was really in deep sleep because by the time we used to sleep used to be very late. So it was only 3 hours or so of sleep. But when he walked in, like a big current will come, and I just woke up and I saw Brahma Baba standing. And, different timings, like as soon as Baba will appear. One time we all were chatting, Didi, myself, some of us. And suddenly, like we felt some energy, we looked at the back, and Baba came and he was standing, listening to what we are chatting. So he used to appear, and of course, in a official way, well, he will come for Murli. But every soul, whatever quality soul has, very powerful vibrations of that quality. Let's say when we think of any person, whether person, the way person talks, or humor, or smile, or some subtle powers, but some of the qualities. So as soon as that person will come in, you will feel like that kind of current comes, and then you look around. So it was very powerful. I still remember that.
It's beautiful, and I'm visualizing, or I feel we were there with you. We just felt the tent, everything, and the scene, the house. And for just mentioning 1962, I had to imagine that at the same moment, at the very same time, I was entering this body in France. So, whilst all this was going on, I was busy taking birth, getting ready to come and join you, but my body was a little baby. Incredible life. Time is such a dimension. The silence, is such a powerful energy, and you connected silence with introversion, solitude, and peace. It's beautiful. And in the same way that with sound, there is volume, and sound can be loud or can be less loud. Do you feel that in silence, there is also different types of silence or different magnitude of silence? Silence from the soul world, silence from a meeting, silence. How would you describe the volume of silence? Or I don't know how to call it, but the variation of silence.
Yeah, one of the deep silence is Prof. Paramdham, actually, And I was talking about, this solitude in which you are seed form stage. And also, when we were young Brahmins in Madhuban, and so class and everything will finish 8:45, whatever we all had to do, and we will come in the room. And that those days, you remember this little Shiva was light in every room. Even now, I have smaller one. And so one of Didi used to tell us, now Karma Yoga finish, go to Paramdham. So I always thought, slept with this, that now body is resting, I soul have to be in Paramdham. So it's a very, very beautiful experience of. But Baba also described that one is called sweet silence. Like you are a detached observer, you're looking at something, but you're not really thinking about, not going into what is going on and lot of thoughts. And there is very, very sweet silence where you are detached observer and seeing drama as accurate, perfect, everyone playing their own part. Sometimes Baba use word dead silence. Dead silence is also bodiless stage. In other words, that when I am soul, I am separate from the body. So intensity and the stages and the experience of silence could be different. And like for me, I really want to be very natural. I don't go into like some do 3 days, five. I haven't done ever. And because I want to be more real and practical by saying how often I need to go into silence. And I took class yesterday with double foreigners where I was talking about wonder of the point. I might take later on that how sometimes you use full stop. Sometimes you think you're as a tilak on your forehead and you say, I'm victorious soul. And just being soul detached from the body. So all this really create the experience of silence in different ways. So when it gets like part of you, then I think that like Dadi Janki, many times after lecture on the stage, she will just go in silence and just stand there and giving drishti. And everyone in the audience will start feeling that silence. So I think that one is type, but then also how much power I accumulate through the silence. So when it's power, then definitely see what power does makes things happen, right? When you have power, turn on fan, you have power, turn on fridge, everything just kind of start working in a proper way. So power of silence could also be making things happen or removing the obstacles. Silence could be where you can give sakash in a proper way or good wishes, as I said. So different kind of silence and different achievements also through the silence. And I really believe in silence, that if you can be silent when there is a big issue or big complicated atmosphere, just be in silence and give sakash and definitely works. So I feel all Baba's children should keep aim to accumulate this power little by little, little. So you think as much necessary, you speak as much as necessary, but also time comes that our sound also has feeling of silence, right? Some people's when they speak and sound, it's really words, right? Some, if they have silence deep within, even when they are speaking, they're taking people into silence. While listening, others are going in silence. So it's many, many different aspects of silence.
That's what's happening to me. You're speaking, and I feel like I'm going into silence. So, but I have to force myself to find a question now. But it's true. And when you mention you're not taking like 3 days in silence, now that you mention it, I never saw you with a badge in Madhuban in silence. And I don't think it will suit you very well to have a big badge. I'm in silence. I don't know how I would react if I come to see you in your room and you are wearing the badge in silence. I would say, Sister Mohini, you're wearing a badge on silence. But talking about this, the power of silence, how do you, I don't know if it's possible to distinguish the power of silence versus power of tolerance or power of peace or power of patience. I don't know if there is something that for you evokes really exactly silence at work. Silence is doing the work versus a quality or virtue.
You know, you make your mind very quiet. You're not thinking about situation or anything. And you make your mind quiet and just become point of light or think you are light. And so when you're doing that, the vibrations of that. So in other words, it's like a very quiet mind as an observer. So you are peaceful, you are quiet, you are detached, and so it's a beautiful way where your power of silence is working now, whether it is on the souls or, as I said, resolving some of the situations. But this ability to, ability to be in silence is a big achievement. in the sense of where I just say, no, I don't need to think really about this situation anymore. And then you go into silence and don't think about that, because we know that it's bigger than what I am trying to do, right? So let drama take care of it. Let Baba take care of it. Let me give Sakash. And I had been doing that lot recently, because when you know something, your intellect works, and tolerance. And so if I am quiet because I am tolerating, it's different. But you are happy, you are quiet, and okay, whatever happens according to drama will be accurate. Somewhere deeply, this reconciliation has happened where you don't let your mind work more on that. And I always found that whenever I have done, there's always some transformation, or I will get call even if it's in India. Oh, things have changed. So I always believe in just giving that sakash through silence. Tolerating and all that is different. Giving sakash through the silence. You start seeing that as part of service.
I've experienced that from you. I know many years ago, I was convinced that something happened in me, and the thought was so clear that it was that you must have been thinking of me or having some thoughts, and I called you, and then I didn't ask you anything, and it said, "Oh, I was thinking of you." And I said, "Yes, that's why I'm calling to confirm it's happening." One last little question before we call Gertrude. I'm curious about the silence of the subtle region. How do you describe that kind of silence? Because Baba talks to you, but there's no sound at all. So how is the silence of the subtle world?
That's the angelic stage, because there is no sound, but the soul to soul or angel to angel communication. And it is really through the movement, like I'm seeing Baba's eyes when I'm taking drishti. He's saying Lord through the drishti, and I can just, it's like something is being, like somebody is recording in me. So when I come, one time, Chandruban, I was in San Francisco for, how do you remember all that? I said, I don't know. It gets recorded and I have to play back when I come here. So there must be some power which we all, I think, will need it more and more, where you have a thought in the mind, and as you said, it really touches the right people in a right way. Yeah, so I think this is kind of angelic stage. You all must be experiencing that, especially these days, right?
Well, I'm still waiting for these moments where Baba brings me to the subtle region on a regular basis. I've put my application and I'm waiting for confirmation. What helps me a lot these days is for quite a while, I learned to move slowly. And I've discovered, I don't know if it's just age, maybe I'm just getting old, I don't know physically, but I think it's more than that. And it's just doing things very, very slowly. Some call it mindfulness sometimes. I prefer just being soul conscious. But I find, like in my cooking, I cut vegetables a bit more slow. I walk slow. I do things slow. And I find it so beautiful. Slow is good. Maybe introversion, solitude, peace, and slow. Maybe I will add that. Slow.
I think it's inner calmness, patience, everything makes, I think we all with the age, not only age, it's maturity also, no? So you become calm, and then I don't know if it's slow or I don't know. There is more patience, or there is more trust that it will be done, right? So,
like fullness in slow motion, but physically, I like to slow down, to walk a bit more slow and do things. So I find them more beautiful. So
that's very good. That's good. Good for
And now,
many.
and now I have to learn to speak slow so we can translate properly. All right, so let's call Gayatri. She will appear like in a subtle region. Yes, she's here, you see? It's like Bog Trey has arrived.
And I was listening very carefully to the conversation, and I was thinking of one thing, and that is feeling Baba's presence. And maybe I'll begin with a little bit of my story with him. And Eric, I'm sure you were sitting next to me. You were always sitting next to me in Om Shanti Baba, and then Baba came. And do you remember there was once when Avyak Bapdada looked at us double foreigners and said to us, have you met Brahma Baba? Have you met Brahma Father? I know Bodhi was there. And he gave us direct drishti. And we had to answer that question. And I remember when he asked the question, I was about to say no. But as I looked in his eyes, I realized it was Brahma Baba asking me, have you met me? And in that moment, I said yes, because I was meeting him in that moment. It was such a strong presence that was felt that you couldn't say no, because he was asking you. But the only thing, he wasn't in the body of Brahma. He was in Tari Gozar's body asking us that question. I don't know if you were there with me, but he always gave it when he came.
I've been a few times, it's true, very close to you when Baba comes, and I love it because he looks at you a lot. So I tend to do like this, like I try to catch the drishti, and I just very close so he can look at me. But anyway.
Yeah, it was very, very beautiful. And I think we all felt his presence in many different ways, particularly at Amrit Vela. He always says, I come for you at Amrit Vela. So tomorrow we will be with him in a very intentional way all day. And we will be with him as the Tower of Silence. Madhuban is the Tower of Silence. We've been live streaming there with Madhuban. I had Amrit Vela with Madhuban. They were having it at 5:30, and I was having Amrit Vela with them at that time. So it was very, very beautiful to be in Baba's room in Madhuban at the time. It was Amrit Vela. And so that silence, even though there's a lot of movement there, there's a lot of silence there as well. And so the root sanskara today that we're looking at is silence. And what we are wanting to experience how we will experience the root sanskara is through our own silent presence, but connecting to the silent presence of Avyak Bapdada. And I think it is the day, 18th January is the day Baba ascended. He became Avyak. He was the first human being to have achieved a stage that set him apart from every other human being in the whole cycle. So 18th January is a day to celebrate that achievement of becoming Avyak, of becoming angelic. And so if you, those of you who usually concentrate on the 1969 Murlis around this time, you would know that there was a shift in the way Baba started speaking to us from Sakar to Avyak. And his entire tone and style changed. And it became, he kept telling us, he kept using this word, Abhyakt, 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 learn to become Abhyakt, learn to meet me in the Abhyakt region, learn to go beyond limitations of the physical. And so we feel him, at least the double foreigners, feel him a lot in the pure thought that he talks about as the frequency of the subtle regions, that you can meet him through the power of pure thought. You can be with him through the Avyakt feeling of love. He always kept saying, learn to take Avyakt love. And of course, his entire being is now Avyakt. It is not physical. So in looking at this sanskara of silence, connected to Avyakt thinking, and Avyakt thinking, Sister Mohini says, is to be introverted. So look at Avyakt thinking within the context of introversion. Look at Avyakt feeling and connect it to the silence, the solitude, and then look at Avyakt being as peace. So Avyakt thinking, introversion, Avyakt feeling, solitude, and Avyakt being peace. And once we've done this, once we, this is the experience we want to have to emerge that root sanskara of silence and connecting silence to presence, then we will use a practice. Tomorrow, I would suggest that throughout the whole day, because you are going to be in silence, and even though Sister Mohini says to integrate it, she gave some very beautiful things of sweet silence, of dead silence. You accumulate the current from silence. Silence make things happen. Silence resolve problems. But there are a few things that she also said, and that was silence gives sakash. So the more silent we are, it's the deeper we go into a space that is called soul consciousness. And from that space of soul consciousness, we give sakash. She also says there's movement. Eric was talking about this slow movement, and I was saying, well, that is what happens in the subtle region, that when you hear the trance messengers go and come back, it's all about movement and all about seeing things through visions. And so that there's a slow movement. There's a movement in silence. It's never without a movement unless we go to the seed form state. But there's also a sound in silence. And there's this beautiful song about the sound of silence. So connected to the vision that gets reawakened in the brain. And so, and that only happens in silence. So, we think of all these different things that silence offers. And tomorrow, throughout the whole day, we should practice. And what we should practice is what Sister Mohini guided us through, is that make your mind quiet and become a point of light, the soul, and become an observer. And then move, this is a silent movement now, you move into your cave of silence in the center of your forehead, in a solitude, and become introverted. So you're going to go into the cave of silence in the center of your forehead. You're going to be in solitude. You're going to become introverted. And then I would further say to you, take drishti from Baba. And in that drishti, it's silence, your silent presence, connecting to Baba's silent presence. And you will feel his silent presence. Tomorrow, all day, you're going to be feeling his presence. It's very easy on the 18th of January. He makes himself present in the silence of our soul. And then she was saying, accumulate from him attainments. Shiv Baba will, through Brahma Baba's Avyakt, being, give us attainments. And so feel that spiritual power in the form of love, in the form of peace, in the form of joy, in the form of truth, whatever it may be. Feel it drop by drop, saturating your soul. You're absorbing it. It's coming deeply into your soul. So I would say to use that as a practice for tomorrow, as an intentional practice for tomorrow. And then we have the quote. And so the quote for tomorrow is extremely also easy. So you won't even have to look at it to remember it. You repeat it a few times and it will just get, you will remember it. It will get stuck into your memory. So the quote for tomorrow that you're going to connect to the silence, the root and skara of silence, will be go into solitude and peace and attain truth. Go into solitude and peace and attain truth. So let's all now move into the cave of silence, into the center of our forehead. Let's go into the solitude and peace and attain truth. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Welcome to Avyakti Journey Family Time, emerging the fragrance of Sakar days.
तुम्हीं से देखा हमने बाबा, तुम्हीं से देखा हमने बाबा, दुनिया का करता तुम्हीं से पाया हमने बाबा, तुम्हीं से पाया हमने बाबा, एक अनोखा प्यार तुम्हीं से देखा हमने बाबा।
Om Shanti. So as Didi talked about today in her sharing about the person's house where Brahma Baba was invited, that was the last picture actually, where he's standing right next to Brahma Baba. So it's Dr. Mathur, a scientist. So that's a kind of matching today. Anyway, so that was a beautiful journey going backward towards Sakar days and feeling the same feelings as like the present time. Thank you, Victor team. Say good night, goodbye, and we'll meet you again.